to the podium to render the national anthem of Trinidad and Tobago, which will be followed by a prayer done by Michael Simon.
Good evening, everyone. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this blessed country of Trinidad and Tobago. We thank you for the freedom that we enjoy. Lord, as we gather here today in this meeting, we ask for your guidance and your grace. We ask that you lead us into your will for this country. We ask that you bless us in all, in this attempt to serve our country and to make it a better place. Amen.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
Thank you, Ronika and Michael. Now I will introduce Ms. Kavita Devideen, an avid supporter of the people and a former youth officer in the West and former senator and a key contributor to our initiative here today. Ms. Devideen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and those watching on social media, especially invited guests. Today is a most historic day, waited for by many of us. In 2007, 5 new constituencies were created. My constituency, Orukuch West, was one. This is when I was introduced to a 30-year-old Miss Michaela family. I wanted to be part of the team, so I joined the Orukuch West constituency executive so that I could be part of helping to improve the standard of living of the people, and most of all, help build Orukuch West. Ms. Pandey served as a member of parliament from 2007 to 2010. During this time, she participated in several debates and motions and sat on various parliamentary committees. She's a qualified barrister in England and Wales and is a member of the Honourable Society of Gray's Inn. Today, she is also a practicing attorney at law in Trinidad and Tobago. In this capacity, Ms. Pandey often provides free legal advice to her constituents. Constituents were able to be heard as we listened to their concerns, and although in opposition at the time, we were able to effect change by using the social services available to meet with many hardships people faced. On a personal level, she has a special passion for sport, as she herself, whilst attending Naparima Girls and Naparima Boys College, excelled in track and field and went on to represent our country at the national level. She also is a founding member of the Youth Empowered Society. Having taught law at the London Metropolitan University, she continues to date, empower our youth. She was a judge and mentor on the Elect a Youth for Prime Minister competition held on CNC3. Close to her heart is the Beyond the Horizon project we worked on in collaboration with the US Army. Constituents were able to access free medical care, medication, cataract surgery, spectacles, wheelchairs, dental care, amongst many other services. She also hosted on Win TV, It's Your Time Now, was a columnist for the Guardian newspaper and a member of the group TNT Canvasetta. Now, it's time to welcome our featured speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our host for this evening's proceedings, Ms. Michaela Pandey.
Good afternoon. We're on time. Members of the media. We have a little technical difficulties there. Please bear with us. Are we okay? Yeah. Members of the media, friends, colleagues, patriots, those listening both here and abroad, let me express my deepest gratitude for joining us here today. We deeply appreciate it. On May 20th last year, an overwhelming mandate was given to form a new political party. Following that decision, a committee, of which I am the chairperson, was set up to embark on the challenging but exciting task of putting in place the structure required to form a new political party that would not only provide hope for all of our citizens, but whose philosophy, principles, ideas, and the way of doing things would change the current and social political status quo that exists today. Today, we are proud to announce that political party has been named the Patriotic Front. And its symbol, the heart, which comprises our national colors, has been registered with the Election and Boundaries Commission. Like the name, the symbol is representative of the love we have for our country and our willingness to defend it. Whilst we do not intend to reinvent the wheel, we intend to do things differently. And so we welcome every single citizen, regardless of color, creed, age, race, gender, or political affiliation, to join us in building a political force second to none. As we launch the Patriotic Front, we are painfully aware that for more than 50 years, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago have been crying out for meaningful change. But such change seems to have been an elusive dream. Change, we the young people of this country also have been longing for meaningful change. But we realize if we really want genuine change, then we must become the change that we want to see. Therefore, as we struggle for change, we shall not do as others have done in the past, saying things merely to gain favor, popularity, or political power. We shall not be engaged in maligning any political party or any members thereof, with rumors, lies, half-truths, and innuendo. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we shall be fearless and not flinch from our duty to point out the wrongs and abuses, the corruption, waste, and mismanagement that have brought our country to the sad state in which we now find ourselves. We intend to start being the change we seek. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been enough criticisms of the wrongs in this society, but not enough positive action to find a remedy for the problems that confront us from day to day. The Patriotic Front will have a proactive and not reactive approach to problem solving. It is said that those who ignore the mistakes of history are condemned to repeating them. It is clear that after doing the same thing politically for over 50 years and expecting different results each time, we have failed to achieve our desire for meaningful change. The kind of change, ladies and gentlemen, that would have helped us to become a truly great and happy nation. Over that period, with the very rare exceptions, in 1986 and 1995, the political system has saddled us with racially, ethnically, class-oriented political parties that have been playing musical chairs in the parliament without the slightest desire to end this charade in our multifaceted society that held so much hope for being an example to the world. But hope springs eternal in the human breast. And it is in this context today that we launch this new political party, the Patriotic Front. As the name signifies, it is our aim to forge an organization that will unite our peoples of diverse racial, ethnic, religious, and class identities into a force designed to commit our combined energies to forging the much desired dream of building a society in which we can all live and prosper in peace, harmony, and happiness. In doing so, we recognize that our human resource is our greatest asset in achieving this long sought after objective. And therefore, in order to accomplish this Herculean task, we begin with these basic beliefs and objectives. 1, the function of government is to so organize the society that it conduces to the greatest happiness, the greatest number of our citizens and residents. 2, while we admit that each individual must find his or her own happiness, we recognize that a precondition to happiness is that every citizen must at least have the basic necessities of a decent life: food, clothing, and shelter. 3, having satisfied these basic physical needs, all citizens must have an equal opportunity for social, educational, economic, and spiritual advancement in accordance with his or her personal choice and abilities. Ladies and gentlemen, we hold fast to the view that successful leaders are those who lead people from where they are and not from where they ought to have been. In formulating plans and programs and enacting laws to achieving the people's happiness, it is therefore important to understand our people and from whence they came, their historical antecedents, their fears, their hopes, their aspirations. Only then will we understand and be able to curb simple things like our propensity to lawlessness, or why we insist on driving on the slow lane, on driving slowly on the fast lane when the slow lane is free, or why there is such a reluctance to obey simple things like our garbage and anti-pollution laws, or why we appoint litter wardens who do not enforce the litter laws. Ladies and gentlemen, these may seem like simple things, but how can we solve the big things if we cannot solve the little ones? On a broader perspective, the Patriotic Front believes that if we are to truly change the current political status quo, that is, the existing state of affairs, there is need for urgent reform, namely administrative reform, reform of the banking laws, rules and regulations, crime, the economy, land distribution, the fishing industry, education, and industrial relations, to name a few. Unfortunately, time will not permit me to go through all of our proposals and suggestions, and therefore you can find a full copy of my speech on our website, the address which you shall get after our meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, now patriots, a principal belief of the Patriotic Front is that the most important resource in our struggle to create a prosperous and happy nation is our human resource. To render a large portion of such a valuable resource useless by employment and use of personnel based on race, political patronage, gender, cronyism, or such other irrelevant consideration, instead of based on merit, is to seriously endanger our chances of success. To encourage such a resource to become indolent, non-caring, lawless, inconsiderate, and to exist in a dependency syndrome is equally harmful to both country and the person. Even to the most impartial observer, it becomes patently evident that we have inherited and developed some very negative attitudes influenced by our historical antecedents of colonialism, slavery, and indenture, which militate against our goal of developing a peaceful and happy nation. Our tendency, propensity, proclivity to lawlessness, lack of concern for others, disrespect for our environment, rumor mongering, lack of respect for our nation, other people's feelings, particularly with regard to our driving, crossing the streets, and littering, to name a few. We must shed these negative traits that we have inherited from colonialism. In many respects, we still have a colonial mentality. We still do not believe that this, our motherland, belongs to us, and that we therefore have a responsibility to protect and preserve it as we would our mother, as we would patriots. In order to neutralize these negative tendencies, the Patriotic Front will embark on a massive program of re-education, starting in our schools from the lowest to the highest levels, and use the state-owned media houses, thank you, TTT, to produce programs conducive to this objective. If we are to, ladies and gentlemen, if we are to develop our most valuable resource, our human resource, we have to reform the education system. The Patriotic Front believes that our education system is still colonial in its nature and geared towards producing personnel and workers for the metropolitan countries. Our system should produce a core of highly skilled inventors and innovators with relevance to our nation, to the needs of our nation. It is urgent, therefore, that we reorient our education system and our syllabuses and all our learning institutions to produce inventors and innovators and creative minds instead of merely being copiers of others. In closing, I would like to address the youth of this great country, because we do not believe that our youth are the problem as some advocate. In fact, the Patriotic Front believes our youth are the answer to the future development of our nation. For too long, we have alienated our youth by denying them a meaningful role in decision-making process and our development. Instead of using our youth to stick up posters and engage in propaganda activities, as some political parties do, we must engage our youth in meaningful participation in the political decision-making processes of the country. It is in this regard we call upon each and every single youth in our nation to get involved to help build the Patriotic Front from the ground up into a force to be reckoned with. It does not matter whether you are from Tobago, South, North, East, or West Trinidad. It does not matter what school you went to, whether you have a skill set or degree, or what economic or racial background you come from, you have a home in the Patriotic Front. We are one country, one people with one future. Today, you have the opportunity to be the change that you want to see, to show those who are afraid of change that there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to be heard. It's time to effect change. It's time to make a difference. I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pandey. I think all of our patriotism has been reignited with that speech. But as we close today, there's some additional information I must provide. For members of the media, we have a press kit prepared for you that you can collect from Ms. Pamela Ramsing. And ladies and gentlemen, you can join the Patriotic Front today. Membership forms are now available at our head office located at Murray Street, Chaguanas, and online at www.pftnt.org. One more time at www.pftnt.org. Alternatively, membership forms will be available in San Fernando at Trinidad College, located at number 74 Chacon Street, San Fernando. Daily at the Details Enterprises, store number 13, Laz Shopping Plaza. Central at Embroidery Experts and Printers, lamppost number 51, Firoz Ali Crescent, Brina Avenue, Railway Road, Quinnipiac. Port Spain at Trinidad College, corner of Henry Street and Independence Square, and Tobago at Trinidad College, Thurman Joe Avenue, Lowlands, Tobago. This information and all updates will be available on our website and social media platforms. Facebook at Real Patriotic Front, Instagram at Real Patriotic Front, Twitter at Real PFTNT, and YouTube Real Patriotic Front. This concludes today's press conference. Please join us for some light refreshments, and thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to your support. It's time, one country, one people, one future. Thank you and good afternoon.
You